Perfect.
Okay, so welcome everybody. Thanks for coming. Let me turn this screen off so we can all see each other. There we go. Good stuff. So thanks so much for coming along. Huge welcome to Hannah, who's going to lead this session, which we've called Performing Like a Boss, which basically I just kind of thought, what would the title to match Hannah's personality? And that's kind of basically it. So the sessions that work really well this week are ones which have been mostly kind of practical, but there's plenty of time for questions. So Hannah's going to give us loads to do. Your housemates and flatmates are just going to have to put up with a bit of noise. I'm sorry, they're just going to have to do that. And if you get bored, you can just start looking at my sleeping kitten on top of my printer over there. So there we go. So delighted to see so many faces. And I'm going to hand over to Hannah. So everyone, let's welcome Hannah. Hannah, everybody.
Here I am. Wow. The title that goes with me. I'm sure Vicky Feldwick could think of many alternatives to Performing Like a Boss. Yes, she has an entire catalogue of photographs that I think are entitled The Many Pained Expressions of Hannah Williams, I think. Yeah. So welcome everybody. Really, really lovely to see you and to see some faces that I recognise and some that I don't so much. So we've got who have we got here that I'm not sure I know? Laura Simmons. I don't know if I know you. Hello. Hi. Tell me about you.
I'm a third year student, primary ed. I've been in the choirs for ages. I just don't really come to these things as much. But cool. Yeah, I'm in song, showstoppers, and high frequency.
Oh, awesome! So you started after I'd left.
Probably.
Yeah. That's why I don't recognise your face. Awesome. Cool. And who else have we got? Sophia. I don't know you either. Hello.
Hi.
Who are you?
I'm studying. Well, I'm my first year of acting, and I'm from Spain. I'm actually in Spain now.
Oh, wow. Whereabouts in Spain are you?
Canary Islands.
Oh, is it hot?
It is actually hot.
So jealous. Wowzers. Well, welcome. Very nice to see your face. And then we have, who have I got here? Eloise.
Hi.
Hi. The disembodied voice of Eloise.
Yeah. I'm a second year health and social care with disability studies student, and I'm also the manager of Song.
Oh, awesome. Hey. Your management team. Fantastic. Rhiannon, I don't think I know you.
No, hi.
Hi.
I'm a second year psychology student, but I am a manager of Showstoppers. I co-director of High Frequency and a deputy director of Steel Pans.
I mean, you could try a bit harder, to be honest. Not going to lie.
I know, I do my best, but you know, there's only so much time in the day.
Amazing. Wowzers. And then finally, she is everything Neil's just said. Or she's in everything, sorry. Amazing. Can't read. Should go back to uni. And finally, Becky Clark.
Hi, hello.
Hello. I don't think I know you either, do I?
No, I'm second year as well. There's quite an army of second years in music stuff this year. But I'm co-director of Song this year alongside Connor. So doing that, so thought I'd come along and get a few handy hints.
Oh, wonderful. Well, you're in the wrong place. No, I'm joking. Wicked. And I know all the rest of you mugs. So hello. Very nice to see you all. Lovely peeps. Welcome, newbies, to me. And for those of you who don't know who I am, my name's Hannah Williams, or Hannah Curtin is my actual name. Oh, Savannah, hey, welcome. And I used to do sort of a version of Neil's job before he came in and made everything work. So yeah, I used to be the director of Foundation Music, as it used to be.
Let's get this clear. Vicky makes everything work, and I kind of smile and take all the glory. That's kind of how it works.
They just stand there and bow.
That's so glad that is still
the case. Yeah.
Excellent.
Long tradition how long may it continue? Yeah.
Vicky needs to be beatified. Saint Vicky of all things. Well, just of all things. Okay, so I used to do that job, and then in 2017, I got sampled, my band got sampled by Jay-Z, platinum disc on the wall for all to see, or not, because it's a reflection, but there we go. And everything went a bit crazy, and I ended up going on kind of, not world tour, but a bit of a big tour following that sample. And it meant that I could no longer do my job at the university because I was just too busy doing other things. Loved my job, didn't really want to leave, but it was time to go. So off the back of that, have had a huge amount of experience as a performer, and kind of all the trials and tribulations that brings with it. Recently, as some of you may have seen, I've just literally been on The Voice UK. So my Blind has been televised, which was actually recorded in October, so it feels like a very long time ago. But my Blind has been televised, and I'm still in the competition, so that's very exciting. So everything's changed again, like 3 or 4 years on. There's been another big old, massive, very public sort of change to my life, and people knowing who I am when I'm trying to buy toilet roll. So that's fun. Literally, fact, got spotted buying bog roll. Cheap stuff as well, so there we go. So yeah, remember, you can be spotted anywhere, kids. So there we go. That's a very, very, very brief history of why Neil has asked me to be here. But alongside all of the performance stuff, I am also a vocal coach, and just absolutely adore that job. I've coached probably half of the people on the screen at the moment over the time that I've been doing that job, and I really enjoy working with students, and with kids, and with adults, and anybody really that has a passion for singing. So Neil asked if I wanted to get involved in this Inspiration Week, and I was like, okay, cool. He suggested the title of this, performing like a boss, and I feel like we hear that term quite a lot, like, oh my god, she bossed it, or like, wow, what a diva, like all of these kind of terms that, like, what do they really mean? Because they kind of suggest like arrogance and power and strength, and kind of some, like the word diva, to me, I kind of actually find that a little bit of a kind of negative word. Like, I feel like lots of people that I've called a diva in my life, I've been like, they're actually a bit of a bitch. So like, nobody wants that in their life. So like, what do those terms really mean, and what are the positive things that we can take from them, and what is it that makes Neil say you can teach people how to perform like a boss? What is it about that term? So I've kind of broken it down into a bunch of different things that I think are just important for being able to present yourself in a public forum when you're singing, be that, look at the pussycat, either singing live on stage, or recording, or being on telly, or standing up in front of your choirs or your instrumental ensembles, and doing that with confidence, so that you feel like you are the boss and everybody else reacts like you are the boss. Okay, so being able to kind of take control of that. So can I just get a bit of a hands up situation here of people that consider themselves to be singers? Great. And a hands up of people that like to sing but don't really like doing it on their own. No? Okay. Perry, interesting. So we've just been forcing you all these years. Okay, cool. I'm down with that. And Sophia, also feeling a bit like, maybe not. Okay, cool. So I know that a lot of you are happy to sing solo, to kind of go out there and perform. And I've worked really hard with some of you, getting you to kind of, really believe in yourself and make that happen and make that a worthwhile activity. And for some of you, I totally appreciate that actually doing that on your own would not be something that would ever enter the realms of possibility. However, there are times in your life when you need to stand up and be in charge and be able to perform, act like a boss. So that kind of leads me on to my first little sort of caption or mantra, if you like, that singing and performing like a boss, it's acting. It's acting with notes when you're singing. That is what you're doing. That is what singing is. When you're doing it really, really well and you're getting other people to go, oh, wow, that was good. Or like, whoa, man. Or like, whoa, whatever the response is. Like, you're acting with notes. You're showing a part of a character and you're not apologizing for that. You know, you're not trying to hide that. You're actually exposing that. So we can act like we're in charge at any point. And the way that you can do that is with many different ways that you can do that. You know, you can either be louder, that often will be very successful, or you can actually just be way more convincing and connected and committed to what you're doing. So it's like, you know, I'm sure you remember, you know, the teachers at school that would make you actually sit up and listen. Weren't the ones that were just shouting, or that would just all be like, come on guys, let's all sit down and, you know, let's look at these pronouns. Okay. It was the ones that was like, okay guys, here we go. We're going to do something really fun today. There's people that had a bit of kind of charisma, can't say that word, charisma about them. So finding kind of your particular little niche of charisma is a big part of kind of feeling like you're in control of either your performance as a musical performance, or your performance as a leader, which many of you, who's a leader here? Hands up, who does any ensemble leading or management, whatever you want to call it? Great, okay, so the vast majority of you either are Vicky or have been at some point in your time with the Music Centre. So the way that I will grab attention is completely different to the way that you will. But there are elements of that, elements of the way that I would do it that would certainly kind of mirror the ways that you guys do it. So can I get everyone to just like unmute themselves and just kind of with a bit of a hands up and a suggestion, like what is it that you think is a quality of being charismatic and kind of feeling like people are going to listen to you? Confidence, okay.
A non-monotonous voice.
Non-monotonous voice, good.
There's a better way to phrase that. So it's just
That's okay, I get you. Anything else?
Passion.
Sorry, Ella.
It's all right.
Passion,
I said passion, yeah.
believing in what you're saying, was that?
Yes.
Who was that said that?
That was me. That was Becky.
Oh, thank you. Believing in what you're saying. Okay.
Also preparation.
Ah, hallelujah. There we go. Thank you.
I would say like being funny or being able to have a bit of a laugh. People respect you more if you can like interact with them and be fun.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
maybe
you mean
relatable.
like you don't? Yeah, relatable. What Rhiannon said.
Relatable, yeah.
Being unique.
Yeah, like, so if there's like a good balance between them realizing that you're kind of the one in charge, but you don't put yourself above them too much.
Okay. So respect.
Leaders lead from the front rather than telling people what to do. So
yeah. So leading by example.
That's exactly it.
Okay, great. Any more?
I said unique, just being
Great.
a bit different to everyone else, really.
Yeah. So embracing your difference.
Yeah.
I think not being afraid to show a bit of vulnerability helps as well.
Oh, these are all fabulous words that I was hoping might come out of your mouth. Great. Fab. Any more? Cool. Okay. So
I feel like I'm specifically like having like a presence.
Having a yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Having a presence. Okay, we'll unpick that again in a minute. So fantastic. So I had like a list of all the things that I kind of wanted to get across. And then I have a list of all the things that you've said, which kind of line up really nicely with what what I kind of already had written down in case you guys drew a blank, which obviously I knew you wouldn't. But these are all really fundamental points. So being confident, what else have we got? Being confident, believing in what you're saying, being relatable, leading by example, having a presence. All of those things. So in order to be that, or to feel that, or to be able to show that as a performer or as a leader, you need to be prepared. Okay, this is the guide in me coming out. I was a terrible guide, got kicked out for swearing. But yeah, that you have to be prepared. And preparation doesn't just mean preparation and commitment. That's the other word I just wanted to bring here. Commitment and preparation. It doesn't mean turning up on time with the right book and you know, a full water bottle. It doesn't mean just those things. It means being in the mindset of what you are about to do or what you are doing in a confident and sort of persistent way. So I remember, you know, many moons ago when I was working with some of the leaders of what was then called Soho, which is now Showstoppers, you know, and week after week I'd turn up and there was a particular leader that would just sort of wing it. They'd turn up and they would look at their score, they kind of open the score and be like, and just sort of make it up on the spot. Now, I'm not saying that I never did that. I did that many, many, many times, and I'm sure you guys have too. But the sessions where that person was preparing was actually thinking about what they were going to do, what elements of the score they were going to work through, or, you know, if their ensemble didn't have a score, which back then in Soho we didn't, everything was by ear, being able to demonstrate to the choir exactly what they were going to work on. The session was so much better. So why do you think those sessions were better, were more productive?
You're only focused on figuring out what to do next. You can't focus on getting those other desired traits across.
Yeah.
You can kind of, if you've prepared, you can prepare for any possible struggles, any really hard bits, whereas if you're not prepared and you run into them in the middle of a rehearsal, you're going to be stuck for ever.
Yeah.
You know.
You prepare for most outcomes, and you know, if this happens, then we can then do this, or we can then, if this is good, then we can move on to this and skip that part.
Yeah,
and you also don't need to learn it yourself on the spot. You already know it, so you can focus on teaching it rather than learning it yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So like, no, excuse me, no matter how good a musician you are, and you know how good a sight reader you are, which I know a number of you are absolutely phenomenal sight readers, much better than I am. But like, even when you're brilliant at sight reading and think you're good at winging it, you can't prepare. Well, you can prepare, but you can't prepare on the spot for what somebody else might do. You can prepare on the spot what you're going to do. You can make decisions about what you're going to do, but you can't possibly have any foresight in that moment into how somebody else is going to respond. Whereas if you've already been through that process, if you've sat and you've sung it through yourself, you know, da 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 da. Oh crikey, what's the rhythm there? Hang on. Da 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 da. Right, that's a hard bit. That's going to take me a while. Let's give that a little circle and make sure we got time to work on that. All of that, just kind of, you know, editing how you're going to present is fundamental to your roles as leaders. Now, like Savannah has so eloquently said at the start, what can you say your phrase again for me, because it was great.
If you're focused on like having to learn then and there, you can't focus on demonstrating those traits that you want to get across as a leader.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're always thinking like, shit, what do I do next? Like, you're not in that moment of like, let's make this brilliant. It's always like, oh, correct, okay, let's just stall this until the session's over. You know, like, nobody wants to be there. Nobody wants to be in that position. So when you're preparing, be be in their shoes, like be in your choir's shoes, or your instrumental ensemble shoes. Think about how you would respond if somebody else turned up and didn't know what they were doing, because it's so exposing and it's so frustrating when that does happen, when it needn't have, you know, when you could have just taken, even if it's just 5 minutes to quickly run through something. If you've got a busy week, it will make all the difference. So when it comes to leadership, that's certainly something that I would sort of suggest that is your kind of your approach all the time. And I'm sure it is. And I know that Vicky and Neil are fantastic at kind of coaching all of you as leaders. But the same things apply when you are performing in front of a live audience. So I'm just going to play, actually, no, not quite yet. I'm just going to ask you some questions first. Let's think about live performances that you guys have seen. So has anybody ever been to a performance where someone's been miming? No? Anybody seen any performances on TV where someone's been miming? How can you tell?
Pops. I just had to say top of the pops.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Every single thing. It's just, oh. They don't even hold a microphone, most of them, and it's just hilarious. But yeah.
So other than the kind of the physical, like, you know, you're definitely just not saying the right words or holding a microphone. When people are miming and like, you're a bit like, are they? Aren't they? Like, how do you tell?
Sometimes they're out of sync.
Yeah.
I mean, if you know how what singers look like when they actually sing, you can kind of see the changes in like the throat. You can see that from the outside, and if they're just mouthing it, and that doesn't really look like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, for example, if someone's belting, but then you can see that, you can literally see how they should look like when they're doing that, and if they're not really, if on their face, if they're not doing that, then you know, then it's not actually real. I mean, yeah. And small discrepancies like phrasing, if they come off earlier slightly than the audio, then small things. I'm always really bad. I always just stare and just watch, and I'm like, are they syncing or not? I'm terrible for it. But yeah.
I think it's fairly easy to tell if they're lip syncing or not when they do runs, because many people will like change their mouth shape very quickly when they do riffs and runs, and that doesn't always sync up. Or if they don't know what they're doing actually, then they just do what they think people do when they watch like Ariana Grande, and then they kind of try to mimic that while having no idea what they're doing.
And closeness to the microphone is a giveaway as well, like a massive one, I think.
So loads of things that are visible, and the most important thing I observe out of all of those answers, that it's pretty much all to do with the face, mouth, neck, that kind of area. So like literally where that sound is coming from. Okay. There are few mimers who can do it so well that they can really trick people who know what they're talking about, and who are experienced in, you know, seeing live singers. And this is the, for me, despite, you know, talking about, you know, commitment, preparation, all of this thing, like all of that leads to being able to get on stage or being able to stand up in front of a group of people and be confident and committed to my expression. And I don't just mean how I sing something, how it sounds. It's about how I look. Now, I don't know how many of you have ever seen me perform, but I know a number of you have, and I know that, you know, Vicky, as I said at the beginning, has made many a caption of me singing, and my many pained expressions, and like, you know, oh, I'm squeezing out a fart, or oh, that bag of crisps is just too far away, or whatever it is, you know, like those, like the expressions that I make are extremely intense. Now, they aren't just there for effect. They're not there just because, you know, because I'm acting. I'm portraying character, emotion, telling a story, but like I'm still myself, and I'm still trying to convey that. I'm still trying to convey some storyline, some meaningful words, make other people feel. And I have to use my facial expression to be able to do that, because my voice won't make those sounds without using my facial expression. And neither will yours. So you see a lot of, unfortunately, I see a lot of, particularly my younger students, and like I've done a few workshops with places like Winnell Rock School, for example, where there's a lot of like excellent singers there, and some of them are a bit kind of like sassy, and a little bit like, who are you? I know best. And they stand up in front of the microphone, and we get this, yeah, la da ba da 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 da, la da 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 da, and like it's accurate, it's nice. You know, they can clearly sing, they've got good pitch, but it's just this sort of resting bitch face the whole time. And it means that we don't get any expression. There's no change in the tone. And the thing that you know, I often hear, even on The Voice, you know, Anne-Marie, like last week, about a couple of people was saying like, oh wow, what great tone. And it sort of leads you to think, well, is tone one dimensional? Like, is it one thing? No, is the answer. No. Tone is hundreds of different types of timbres that, you know, that you meld, that you work between to make your voice sound colourful and exciting. And you can't do that without using some expression, without moving your actual anatomy. Like you were saying, you know, when you see people doing runs when they're miming, you know, because there's no contortion of the face, there's no expression that's changing, there's no physical movement happening in kind of the face and neck and head area. So committing to that expression isn't just about looking the part, it is about sounding the part. So I use this sort of stupid metaphor, I know, but it was not metaphor, what's the word I'm looking for, like example. So imagine you're in a theatre of, you know, you've got 100 people on one side, you've got 100 people on the other side. It'd be a pretty weird gig, just to say, for people to be spread out like this, but 100 people on the right can't hear, 100 people on the left can't see. Okay, so the people who cannot hear you need to see your voice. The people who can't see you need to hear your face, which is a very strange thing to say. But do you understand what I mean by that? Yeah. So expression is not a singular thing. Expression is not just look sad. Nah. Looking sad, committing to a feeling of sadness and singing with that is going to completely change the way that you sound and just be way more believable. And that's your job. That's your job as a singer. That's your job as a leader, is to make other people trust your emotions. It's to make other people believe what you are saying, believe what you are singing, tell the story. So let's go back to the beginning and look at the title of this whole session. So you've brought up a number of words that I haven't yet got to, but let's think about who are some people that you think, like in the kind of the wider context, you know, in the music industry, who you are like, they sing like a boss. Throw me some names.
Jessica Vosk.
Sorry?
Jessica Vosk.
Jessica Vosk. Lovely.
She's a Broadway performer. She's fantastic.
Vosk. I don't know if I know her. Amazing. Okay. Anyone else?
Sarah Bareilles.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Who bosses it on stage for you? Vocally.
Harry Styles.
Yeah, actually, credit where credit's due. Yeah, 100%. Good. Anyone else?
Bit of a random one, but the confidence of Lizzo when she performs on stage.
She is my spirit animal. I absolutely adore that woman. She's amazing. Anyone else?
Brandon Flowers. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Brandon Flowers.
Brandon Flowers, yep.
I was going to say Jessie J.
Yeah.
She's very confident.
Amazing. Okay.
Sutton Foster.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Oh yes, that's
on Broadway. She's insane. Yeah.
I've got some cool stuff to look up later.
And Jennifer Hudson.
Jennifer Hudson. Thank you.
That's an old favourite of mine, Demi Lovato.
Yeah, great.
Brendan Urie as well.
Don't know that. Who's that?
Panic at the Disco.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Connor.
Anyone else?
Shirley Bassey.
Shirley Bassey. Yes.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Adam Lambert.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's brilliant. Oh, Freddie Mercury.
Yeah. Here we go. Right, cool. Let's stop there. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 people that you've just shouted out at me performing like a boss. Okay. So the word boss, give me some words that kind of describe, this boss character.
I think I would say like they're totally in control of the stage. They know what they're doing and they just go for it. Like there's no hesitation. So I guess confidence again. Yeah. Complete self-belief and like being in the moment.
Yeah. Well done.
I think having a strong song as well really helps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being energetic and using like your whole body during the performance, I think as well, a lot of them do.
I feel like it's great when it looks effortless, when you can just tell that they are so good that it doesn't like strain them, even though it probably does to a degree, but it doesn't look like it.
Yeah. Just make it look like a walk in the park, basically.
Yeah.
Cool.
I just thought of somebody else who's a bit different, but Minnie Riperton, like when she performed Loving You, like it's such a soft song, but it's so effortless. She's insane.
My faves.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. Okay. So, fabulous. So we've got a big old list of people who we think, they perform like a boss. And we've got some qualities that are, really strong, confident qualities, energetic, making it look effortless, being in control, self-belief, choosing a strong song. Can I just ask you to unpack that a bit, that strong song? What do you mean by that?
Well, sometimes you can tell by the song that it's got like a really strong opening of like either a great bass or drum beat behind it, and it's it's going to be a good song. It's like Michael Bublé, Feeling Good. It's just a great opening of a song.
Yeah. Sure. Check out the originals of that as well. Even better. And Screaming Jay Hawkins. And he does all his old stuff. Incredible. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So exactly. So kind of choosing repertoire that is going to show you off in a way that is confident. We all know what we like to sing that kind of shows us off in what we think is the best light. So what's interesting here is there's a couple who I don't know, so I can't comment about them, and specifically a couple of the West End folk, the musical theatre guys that I don't know. I'm imagining they've got lots of tricks up their sleeves. But we look at people like Harry Styles, Jessie J, J Hud, Demi Lovato, Shirley Bassey, Adam Lambert, Minnie Riperton, Freddie Mercury, all of those guys. What are they singing about most of the time?
Demi Lovato has a lot of songs that have some connection to something negative. It says always, it's very dramatic. It's almost like a tragedy in some of her songs, like the ones that have, some of her songs have like a coherent storyline, or she talks about her father or some other struggles she's been through.
Kind of leading on from that, a lot of them are personal experience, so stuff that they can really kind of empathize with and get that emotion across. So a bit like what Gloria said with those kind of emotions and experiences.
Yeah. Anything else?
I think leading on from what you said earlier about acting and being a part, a lot of them are just stories, so they're conveying the story and becoming that part.
Storytelling, yeah. Great. Anything else? Last one. Anything else that's like a common theme that people, you know, the people that we've sort of talked about today might write down? Sorry,
love
might
and
sing
like
about.
heartbreak.
Love and heartbreak, yeah. Great, okay. So we have two quite contrasting lists here of people. So, you know, I'm not trying to trick anyone, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, look, you didn't know this. You're going to know this. But like actually looking at it on paper and kind of looking at these lists side by side, it becomes quite blindingly obvious how important one certain thing is. So